Israel.
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 The world order is constituted by a mysterious alliance of Zionist Jews and Zionist Christians who control power. Zionist-dominated world order is so hell-bent on preserving its rule over the world and taking its messianic mission to full spectrum dominance that they are prepared to provoke world war. They are prepared to face the destruction of most of the known world today. It doesn't matter to them what damage is done. What they want is to continue to rule the world until the end of history. This world war, which will be fought not only by NATO, but by its surrogates in the Turkish government, the Saudi ruling monarchy and its Wahhabi, Salafi religious backers, by the Zionist state of Qatar, by Libya, and by all others who pronounce their concern for Israel's security. This world war that's coming will target not just the world of Islam. In order for Israel to subdue its immediate geographical region, the Arabs, but more importantly, that this coming world war will target Russia and China. It will be such a world war, said Prophet Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, that birds flying in the sky will fall down, which appears to me to anticipate nuclear war, with thousands of nuclear weapons perhaps being used, in consequence of which electronic devices and electronic warfare and cruise missiles and fighter aircrafts can no longer use space. They are a people who are located in European civilization, but not all of Europe. It is crucial for us to understand that they are located in Western Europe. And from Western Europe to the United States and to Australia, etc. And so, Russia is Eastern Europe, and China is not European at all. Those who control power in the world today must be understood not only in terms of geography, but also in terms of religion. Western Europe follows a breakaway faction of the Christian religion. When Constantine became Christian, he moved his capital from the pagan city of Rome, the pagan city, to Constantinople. He built from what was originally there, the new city of Constantinople. And so this became the heart of the Christian world, Constantinople. And it was from this heart of the Christian world, located in Eastern Christianity, that a breakaway faction emerged and went back to Rome and created the Vatican and Western Christianity. And those who control the world today are a mysterious alliance of Western Christianity and European Judaism. We say mysterious because Christians accuse the Jews of the ultimate crime of killing God Himself. You can't do worse than that. And so, an alliance between Christians and Jews is something truly mysterious. And yet, before our bewildered eyes, it has been forged, first through a reconciliation, in which the Vatican played a mysterious role, and then full-fledged alliance, the Judeo-Christian, Western Christian alliance. Russia is not Roman Catholic. Russia follows the original Christian faith, Eastern Orthodox Christianity. Chiang Kai-shek was Christian, but China was never Christian. And so Russia, not a part, neither geographically nor religiously, a part of the world order which today imposes his unjust rule over the world. And so Western Christianity and European Judaism are very, very, very uncomfortable about the existence of an Eastern Orthodox Christian church in Russia and in Eastern Europe. This mysterious alliance of Jews and Christians in Western Europe acted in a way that was very un-Christian and un-Jewish. For example, it was this alliance of Jews and Christians who created modern Western civilization, which then embarked upon building a new paradise in the Western Hemisphere. And they needed labor to build a new paradise. And so they created a market for slaves. And once the market was there, then the headhunters emerged, roaming through Africa and seizing free men and free women, and forcibly then offering them for sale to a market which was there and ready and willing to buy them and take the Africans to the Western Hemisphere as slaves. This was not Christianity. This was not Judaism. What a strange new religion. Russia was never a part of the slave trade. Western European civilization acted in other unjust ways, and Russia was never a part of it. In mysteriously using a newfound power which came to them from the scientific and technological revolution, a newfound military power, to embark upon what appears to have been a messianic mission to wage wars of aggression against non-European people, to conquer and to colonize the rest of the world, to then suck their wealth, to grow wealthy and to live comfortable, to travel first class, while the natives of the world were enslaved. And they never decolonized until they had put in place institutions which would ensure that they would continue to rule over and continue to exploit their former colonies by proxy, would become copycats, would live the way they live, would dress the way they dress, would eat the food that they eat, McDonald's, hamburgers, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Who are these people who want to transform the rest of the world into carbon copies of themselves? Is this happening by accident? Or is there an explanation? Yes, there is in Islamic eschatology. Russia never participated in these colonial wars. No. China never participated in these colonial wars to build empires that would straddle the world. We had Pax Britannica, but Russia never attempted or aspired to become a ruling power in the world, nor did China. Who are these people who want to rule the world as moneylenders, as bloodsuckers? They consider themselves to be the chosen people of the Lord God Most High.
I am the chosen one.
Western European Christianity, we said, reconciled with European Judaism to build the Judeo-Christian world order. The USSR was covertly a part of the Judeo-Christian axis. Christian Russia never reconciled with Judaism to become a part of the Judeo-Christian alliance. It was Christian Russia which was attacked in the Bolshevik Revolution. The Quran has spoken to us about that Jewish-Christian alliance, of which Russia is not a part. Let us for the first time now turn to the Quran to seek to understand today's world order. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, or the 5th chapter of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a command. He says, I have to quote the Arabic because Allah did not speak in English. O you who have faith in the one God, the God of Abraham, do not take such Jews and do not take such Christians as your friends and allies who themselves are friends and allies of each other. This is perhaps the first time some of you are hearing this verse of the Quran explained this way. If you look at all the translations, what you find is, do not take the Jews and do not take the Christians as your friends and allies. They are friends and allies of each other, which is false. Which is false. There are many Jews in the world who are not allies of Christians, who are not part of the Zionist alliance, opposing Israel. There are many Christians in the world, lots of them in Russia, who are not friends and allies of the Judeo-Christian alliance. So this is a false statement. The Quran is anticipating the emergence of a Jewish-Christian alliance. بَعْدُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. And so the Quran is not referring to all Jews. That is schoolboy scholarship. And the Quran is not referring to all Christians. That is schoolboy scholarship. The Quran is saying, do not take such Jews and do not take such Christians as your friends and allies, who themselves are friends and allies of each other, referring clearly to the emergence of today's world order, the Judeo-Christian alliance. If you differ with my tafsir, bring yours. Let's hear it. And whosoever turns to them with friendship and alliance, as those who so gleefully sought NATO's support to overthrow the Libyan regime, those fools with a capital F, and those fools with a capital F who call themselves the Free Syrian Army, taking weapons and taking greenback American dollars from the Zionist state of Saudi Arabia, from the Zionist state of Qatar, and from Turkey, who is so happy to be an ally of Israel and a member of NATO, and taking weapons from Libya to now overthrow the Syrian regime. And Imran Hussein is not the supporter of any government in the world of Islam today. So don't come with your nonsense that this statement of mine makes me a supporter of Tom, Dick or Harry. When you do that, Allah says, when you take support from them and you become their allies, whosoever from amongst you turn to them with friendship and alliance, you now belong to them. You left Islam, you no longer Muslim. Why do they want to rule the world? These people about whom the Quran has prohibited us from maintaining friendly ties. Russia and China are making efforts to seek to dismantle this unjust world order. But the efforts which they are making, unfortunately, cannot succeed, even though they ought to succeed. I analyzed and explained and interpreted hadith of the Prophet ﷺ to the effect that history was going to witness 3 successive efforts at ruling the world on the part of this alliance. The first was Pax Britannica, when an obscure island off the coast of Europe was able, through its naval power, to establish 114 naval ports straddling the whole world on the eve of the First World War. Pax Britannica is a misnomer because there was no peace in it. It's not Pax, it was war, barbaric war, by a, excuse the term, white man, meaning white European, who felt that he had a messianic mission to civilize Dr. Chandra Muzaffar and Imran Hussein. Pax Britannica, or Britain as a ruling state, did not mean that Britain had to rule every square inch of the earth. No. A ruling state is one whose power, political and economic power and dominion over the world was such that it could not be challenged by any rival or combination of rivals in the world. That made you a ruling state. And then came the second ruling state, part of our Islamic eschatology, when the United States of America replaced Britain and demolished Britain as a ruling state. That's what Bretton Woods was about. Bretton Woods meant Britain couldn't rule the world anymore. The United States of America then gave to the world Pax Americana. And it is this Pax Americana which is now collapsing. What comes after that? According to the hadith and my interpretation of the hadith in my book Jerusalem in the Qur'an, it is Pax Judaica. All along from the very beginning they were telling a lie. When they said that all that we want to do, and the USSR was happy to sing that song as well. All that we wanted to do was to give to the Jews a home where they could live, a home. And that's why they created Israel. But that was a lie. They never created Israel to provide a home for the Jews. They created Israel so that one day Israel could rule the world. And when Israel ruled the world, then said Prophet Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, a man would emerge. The Prophet described him. He said he would be a Jew. He said that he would be a young man. He said that he would be powerfully built and he'd have curls. And I always thought it was curly hair, until an Egyptian said to me, "No, Imran, you're wrong. It's not curly hair, it's the curls that the Orthodox Jews have at the sides of their faces." He would have those curls, said the Prophet. And he would rule the world from Jerusalem and declare that I am the Messiah. And this brings us to eschatology. Christian eschatology says that the Messiah was Jesus, the son of Mary, and that he came and that he will come back. Islamic eschatology says that the Messiah was Jesus, the son of Mary, and that he came and that he would come back. But Jewish eschatology says that the Messiah never came. The Messiah is still to come. He could not have been the Messiah because, وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ هَذَا, he's a bastard. And a bastard cannot be the Messiah. And so they're waiting for the Messiah to come. And that's why Israel wants to rule the world. So that history will end with a validation to their claim to truth. And Prophet Muhammad said that Allah sent someone who will impersonate the Messiah. And he will be Dajjal, the false Messiah. And this is why they want to continue to rule the world, even if they have to provoke world war, which will be nuclear war as never before explained in history. Will Russia bend her knee? No. Russia is already resisting. That's what BRICS is all about. And when the Soviet Union collapsed, and we have to recognize that yes, there was some merit in Marxist theory, economic theory. We don't deny that. But it is not the economic theory that was so dangerous. It was the role of the Soviet Union in suppressing and subduing and attempting to destroy Eastern Christianity in Russia and in Eastern Europe. And that's why they had the altar. That's why they stopped when they stopped, so they could give Stalin that role to do on their behalf. And the Soviet Union had another role to play. and that is to facilitate the migration of millions of Jews from Russia and from Eastern Europe to Israel. They may be Jews, but don't forget, they are also Russians. They are also Russians. Russia will not bend her knee. The Soviet Union collapsed, and Russia is now once more Rome. I cannot end without explaining the term Rome. There is a surah or a chapter of the Qur'an entitled Surah to Room, Room as R-O-O-M, Room. And in that chapter Allah speaks and He says, غُلِبَتِ الروم, Rome has been defeated. وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ. But after their defeat, within a short period of time, they're going to be victorious. And the Quran spoke positively about Rome. Who is Rome? I hope the Salafi are listening to me. Rome in the Quran was Byzantium, which had its capital in Constantinople. Eastern Orthodox Christianity, which today is in Greece, in Armenia, in Bulgaria, in Hungary, in Romania, in Russia. When the Ottomans mysteriously conquered Constantinople, the Ottoman Sultan Muhammad Fatih declared, I am now Rome. You have to laugh at that. I am now Rome. I'm now the Emperor of Rome. No. When Constantinople was captured by the Ottomans, the capital of Rome went to Moscow. This is what the Salafis can't swallow. Moscow is today Rome, and so Russia is today Rome of the Quran. The Ottomans did the best that they could possibly do to plunge dagger after dagger into the heart of Rome on behalf of Western Europe. The Ottoman Empire resembles Saudi Arabia like a mirror. Yes, there was the application of the Sharia and so on and so on and so on, as in Saudi Arabia. But why did you wage endless wars of aggression, naked aggression, against Eastern Europe? Rome, not Western Europe. They never took on Britain. They never took on France. But Eastern Europe and Russia. War after war against Russia. Why? Why did you have to enslave Christian women and make them your slaves in your harem? Ottoman sultans never married. They had their slaves, white Christian women. Why did you have to enslave Christian boys and convert them to Islam? What kind of theology do you have to support that? It came from Disneyland? And then train these Christian boys who are now Muslims to become the elite fighting force of the Ottoman Empire, the Janissaries. But worse than that, in order to ensure there's eternal hatred and enmity between the world of Islam and Russia and Eastern Europe, what Sultan Muhammad Fatih did shamelessly and disgracefully, and I am careful in my choice of words, was to take the greatest cathedral of the Christian world, Hagia Sophia or Hagia Sophia, and convert it into a masjid to the eternal shame of the Ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And so the Ottoman effort was to drive a wedge, which they hope would be eternal, to ensure that there can never be an alliance between the world of Islam and Russia. in Eastern Europe. The Prophet Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, said that in the end time you will make an alliance. He used the word sulh, not hudna. Hudna is a truce, but the hadith is the word sulh, a peace treaty. You will make a sulh with Rome. And so history will not end until the world of Islam, which is not in the embrace of the Zionists, that part of the world of Islam enters into an alliance with Russia and with Eastern Europe. And there's one more thing before we end. He said that you will conquer Constantinople. لَتَفْتَحَنَّ الْقُسْطَنْطِنِيَّةَ وَلَنِعْمَ الْأَمِيرُ آمِرُهَا وَلَنِعْمَ الْجَيْشُ ذَلِكَ الْجَيْشُ. And he praised the commander of the army, and he praised the army. It could not have been that one in 1457, which disgracefully converted Hagia Sophia into a masjid. No. I have argued in my lecture the conquest of Constantinople in the end time. The conquest of Constantinople prophesied by Prophet Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, is still to come. It is still to come. It will come after the Great War takes place. A Muslim army will conquer Constantinople, and that will be the end of NATO. If Turkey attacks Syria, it's going to provoke civil war in Turkey. And I think the whole world of the Kurds, and we have a Kurdish Muslim right here, the whole world of the Kurds will now enter into that war to support the Turkish Muslims who are seeking to liberate Turkey from NATO. And all the true mujahideen from all of North Africa, I hope you're listening to me, will then be going to join that army. But the question arises before I end. Why would a Muslim army march to conquer Constantinople? Why? If I am alive when that happens, and we conquer Constantinople, the first thing I would do is to return Hagia Sophia to the Christians. This is your church. This is your church. You can remove the minarets. The second thing I would do is to apologize to the Christian world for what was done for 500 years. And then Mustafa Kemal added salt to the wound by taking the greatest church of Christendom and converting it into a museum. And the third thing that I will do is to restore the name of the city, Constantinople, because that was the name that the blessed Prophet used when he said, لَتَفْتَحَنَّ الْقُسْطَنْطِنِيَّةَ. But before I end, why would a Muslim army march to Constantinople? Why not Jerusalem? I have only one answer for that. Only one. There's only one military benefit that can be derived from the conquest of Constantinople in the Akhirul Zaman, or the end time. And that is that a Muslim conquest of Constantinople at the time when Muslims and Russia are in alliance will free the Bosphorus for the Russian Navy to then pass through the Bosphorus into the Mediterranean. And that's goodbye, Israel. Thank you.